Hello, my name is Jack Sedge, and you probably have a lot of questions. Well, I am here to answer all of them. So, why don't we just go right to the first one? So, someone asked me, how long does it take for a song from Midwestern Meltdown? Well, it really depends on the song. It also depends on the mood I am today. If I'm not musically inspired to make the song, then I just don't make it at all. And if I do, I just go along with the flow. Like sometimes I have a vision, but other times I just go completely like free. Like I don't think of like a huge concept at all. I just go along with the flow. Okay, second question. Where did the name originally come from? Now, this is a very funny story, I'll just say that. So, back around a year ago when I was visionizing this mixtape, and I'm sorry if that doesn't make any sense, I'm horrible with my words, but you get the memo. So, around a year ago, I was vibing with this girl, and we were held pretty close. And then she broke up on me, and that made me very sad. And around that time, I had a meltdown because everything was coming down on me. Like, I had, work to do. I had a bunch of other stuff. And I met this girl when I went to the Midwest for a March break trip or something. And that's how I came up with the name. I just plugged one and another, and it started catchy enough. So, yeah, that's how Midwestern Meltdown was made.
Ayo, just a quick disclaimer. I kind of forgot a third question, so if you see that I just moved on to the fourth question, just excuse it for, just being a Q&A.
Okay, now we're done with the third question. Now, this fourth question I really found very interesting, very meaningful. Now, I bet you guys are either figuring out, what does your mixtape really mean? And one of these guys, they actually sent it to me saying, what does this mixtape originally mean? So, yeah, so half of it is, the way that, how I dealt with, heartbreak and how I dealt with, having a meltdown and such. But then after, really working on it, I realized, hey, this is not just about, heartbreak, but also coming of age. I'm getting older and I'm getting wiser. And coming with that, I realizes, the mistakes I've made in the past and all the stuff I've had to deal with. And that's the meaning of it. Just, getting older, realizing that you're coming of age. There's lyrics in there that really hinted and really symbolize that. So, yeah, there's much more than one meaning to this mixtape. And I feel like those themes really contrast each other very well. And themes of maturity can mean, for example, realizing that you've done some things wrong, like the theme in church talking. But it's basically that, but expanded way more into depth. And shout out to y'all who remember church talking. Because a fun fact about that song was made actually 2 years ago. And I actually didn't release it till last year because, I don't know, I didn't think the song was good enough. But I just released it and saw how it went, and you guys seem to love it. So, yeah. There's going to be something similar to that on the mixtape, so I hope you guys are excited. Now, after all of that, you guys are probably wondering, and one of my friends actually sent me this question, how long is the mixtape going to be? And all I can say is that it is going to be worth the wait. The length of it, I can tell you the exact amount of it. I'm trying to think of it now. It is going to be around 78 minutes long. Around the same length as a very famous album known as Music by Playboi Carti. It's going to be the same length as that. So you guys are really in for a treat, and I personally am really proud of this mixtape. I personally felt that I put me on there in general, and I feel like I've added my own twist to some beats that I feel like you guys are going to really like. Especially the song that came with the trailer. That was actually my favorite song that I made from this whole mixtape. I'm not saying it's the best, but personally, it's my favorite one. It was my favorite one to make. Now, the second last question that you guys are asking. So, why did this take so long to release? Now, for anyone who has stuck through the entire year, you probably are aware that this mixtape was supposed to release November 7th. And I'm fully aware of that, and I can explain why. It was because the mixtape was unfinished, all the recordings were horrible. It was just, if I released it, everybody would have laughed at me. Like, everybody would thought that this was the worst thing they've ever listened to. It was absolute, like, horrible. And I just didn't want to give that, you know? And that's why it's taken so long, because, again, back when I originally started making this mixtape, I wasn't really good at making beats. But ever since the past year, I've progressed way better as a producer. My beats are pretty good now, actually. And thanks to that experience, thanks to all that practice, I really feel like that this time the mixtape will drop, hopefully, if I can get the recordings done. But yes, the mixtape will drop, and it will be pretty good. No, not just pretty good, it'll be amazing. I know you guys are really going to enjoy this mixtape, and another reason why it took so long is because I have, it took really long to get the features on hold. And now I have all the features guaranteed, so we can go on along with the mixtape. Now, before we end this sort of Q&A, could you tell me any future projects or future songs that I'm making? And all I can say is that you guys are going to be eating really good for Jack's Edge content. I am working on my sound every day. My beats are getting really good. They're getting better and better every day, and the mixing and mastering that I've done is getting better as well. My lyricism's getting better. Just generally everything's going to be like better. And probably by a year or so, I am probably going to be as good or even better as your average artist is, you find on the internet. And I am willing to take the long haul, because if you don't know, I produce, write, mix and master, choreograph, and think of all the ideas and all of the song ideas in here. Mostly everything in Midwestern Meltdown was completely made by yours truly, except for one feature, but around mostly everything was made by me. And that's back to why everything took so long, is because normally everybody has a team. And with that team, they're able to push out content really fast. With me, it was just me and myself alone. Having to learn all this, having to struggle with, the challenges of being a producer, being a sound engineer, being a lyricist, and just being an artist in general. And last of all, if you're a producer watching this, or if you're an artist watching this, I have one key advice. Now, when you guys are making beats or making songs in general, make songs that you enjoy making. Like, for example, if people laugh at you, for your music, brush it off. Because it's one of your first times. You're not going to get incredibly good at beats. Trust me, your first 20 beats are probably going to be bad. But when you start to make that practice, once you start to, really participate in this craft that you're making, you can make some amazing things. And also, just a one-pointer, learn music theory. Trust me, it'll help you in the long way. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys enjoy the mixtape in a couple weeks. Trust me, I'm listening to it right now, and it's really good.